This month's bullet journal theme is medieval marginalia. Medieval marginalia is one of my special interests because it's all about wacky little guys. And I do love myself a wacky little guy. So I figured I'd give you a smidge of context before we jump right on into my process and how it turned out. And yeah, I hope you like it. Medieval marginalia has existed as long as we've had people doodling in books, as long as we've had books. There are some examples. There's an Irish text that has a snippet of Ogham, which is the Irish language of trees. It's like a stave or one line, and it has vertical and diagonal slashes that represent different words, and it basically is like, oh God, I'm so hungover. Which cracks me up. It's like, yep, even scribes were like, oh God, I'm so hungover. All right, let's get back to work. So marginalia for me is something that it tickles me, because if you've never looked up marginalia, you need to look up marginalia. I'm going to show some examples later on, but it is so wacky. There are... Where to even begin? There's like people faces on like lion paws. There's rabbits or hares riding snails, doing battle with one another. There's rabbits with axes. There's rabbits killing humans. There's snails with people faces being ridden by rabbits into battle. Like, it's just wacky. Some of it's a little naughty, so have fun with that. It's just the usual jokes. Passing of wind, people's private body parts being harvested from trees by nuns. I love marginalia. It is so wacky. It's also just very, very human. Like, we all love a good Tootie joke. Hello, it's me. So yeah, without further ado, medieval marginalia for April's bullet journaling. As I am looking through other manuscripts for inspiration, I'm also trying to think about how I want to like style my page, because sometimes there's like a little box with often the first letter of the top of the manuscript, and then the text with margins. So, do I want to do like a box down here and one up here, or up here and down here with sideways, like narrow, yeah, narrow dates. the video. I hope you had fun. I had a lot of fun with this project. I felt like it was definitely a stretch of my patience. I have a perfectionist streak that really wants to do things exactly perfect the very first time. So that was fun. Got a little frustrated with myself, had to step back, come back later, remember to eat my snacks. But like overall, this was a lot of fun. It was really relaxing to kind of dive into, I don't know, making little vignettes on each week page and coming up with little stories in the back of my head about, you know, oh, is this character singing to this other character, or are they yelling? So I had a lot of fun. I would say it's a success. Let's try that again. I would say it was a success. Not perfect, but I had fun, and that's the most important part. If you like what you have seen here and you would like to see more, hit the like button, subscribe, and leave me a comment. What did you learn something about Marginalia? Do you have a favorite little guy? What other layouts should I try? What other themes should I try? Thanks so much for stopping by, and I hope you have a wonderful day.